just think it is in Taifa Leo.
Yes.
I didn't see that clip. I didn't see that.
There was no clip. This is what were...
That's a clip. That's a clip.
All right, but do you think in any way that this is a sort of an endorsement? Because there has been a debate whether it's Sonko or it is...
Absolutely, I don't think so. I think the president was just speaking, you know, as a matter of fact, you know, when he's in the county there, and knowing that the gentleman is contesting in Nairobi. I mean, he must have just been acknowledging the obvious and the truth, that being in his home county, he's contesting in Nairobi, he would have the support of his people back in Murang'a. I think it is simple as that. Yeah.
All right. You don't think this is an endorsement?
I don't agree.
I mean, the contest is in Nairobi. It's not in
Let me tell you, I don't agree. And maybe because you didn't watch the clip. The clip is actually in mother tongue. It was said in mother tongue.
Yes.
And the president was very clear about what he thinks about Peter Kenneth, in terms of he has worked very well in Murang'a, and although he says there will be democracy, the statements themselves put together, and if you understand the Kikuyu language, can only be an endorsement, because you're speaking to an ethnic constituency. Had he been speaking as a president to a larger cosmopolitan Nairobi constituency, he would have spoken in English or Kiswahili. He spoke in Kikuyu. And I can tell you the population in Nairobi of the community called the Kikuyus is not small at all. So expect the fireworks. I was telling you, there will be more than burning bushes in the city.
And when we're talking about voter importation, Murang'a is just here, and so is Kiambu as well, right? And we've had allegations of voter importation. So if he goes there and is ramping up for one candidate, don't you think also this is likely to be...
You know, if importation was going to be happening, it would have been during the voter registration.
During voter
Not
registration.
now.
Not now.
You can't import people now. I mean, the exercise is over, closed.
All right.
So you deal with what you have.
Let's say from Honorable Boni Khalwale.
The best way to understand what the president said is to ask yourself, what is the target group for Peter Kenneth in Nairobi? The only votes Peter Kenneth has in Nairobi are from the Kikuyu community.
In Murang'a, from Murang'a.
Yes.
Who are the majority?
So when the president chose to not only to say those things, but say them in his mother tongue, he was sending a very clear message that his preferred choice is Peter Kenneth. Songo is hoping that he will be able to get votes from the same target group.
Yes.
The target group that would otherwise have given Songo that support will not be going there, because they'll go where Kilonzo is pointing his finger. And Kilonzo is pointing to the NASA flag bearer in Nairobi. Finally, for purposes of clear understanding, Wamatangi, probably you don't know these things. When political hongos endorse you, they don't take the Bible and swear that, I swear...
That is the best man.
No.
No, no, no.
In fact, what Jaramogi Oginga Odinga would do in his famed days, he would then pass in your constituency when you are not there. And he say that, I understand that Wamatangi comes from here. Could you please greet him when he comes next time? He has endorsed you. So the president has endorsed Peter Kenneth. And therefore, Songo should quickly avoid participating in that rigged nomination for Jubilee in Nairobi. What's wrong with him? Can't he see? He should learn from Johnson Sakaja.
Let me correct you
and
a little
ship.
bit. You know, first I'll watch the clip.
You've watched the clip?
No, I'm saying I'll watch the clip to give you some better insight, if maybe next time. But let me say this to you. Actually, last week, you remember I was with the president when he came to Kiambu. And towards the end of the tour, we were also with Sonko, because the tour was culminating in Nairobi. And when we go to Nairobi, where Sonko now is contesting with Peter Kenneth, Sonko got his time to speak, and the president was also very clear to the people of Nairobi when he spoke that this man amongst the others is your man.
He spoke in Kiswahili or
And
Kiswahili?
He spoke in Kikuyu.
I mean,
Kikuyu or
my
Swahili?
friends, let me tell you. listen to me. As much as we play politics, but you know the composition, the ethnic composition by aggregate of each community in Nairobi.
Yes, we do know.
Yes. So there is no way you can try to play it around as though it is an affair of. Let me tell you. Do you know, for any one ethnic community in this country to win any elective position in Nairobi, you must have support of others. Don't cheat yourself, Boni, when you are there, that you can go and get your lawyers in Kawangware.
But we're talking about Jubilee for now.
Or neither any other person in the entire of that contest. If you want to win Nairobi, you would have to have the support of at least some of the other communities. Now, lastly,
for nomination.
Lastly, my friends, let me tell you.
We're talking about nomination.
We're talking about
nomination within a Kikuyu Party Jubilee.
Let me tell you also. We as leaders, one thing that we have to do is to ensure that by work, deed, and talk, that we promote what we say. True democracy. And the truth of it, let's not be seen to be playing this card about ethnicity. That's the same problem you people have in Busia. That's what we've just been talking about.
No.
Why do you want to reduce it to that? You know, let me tell you what you will see on Friday. What you will see on Friday between those two gentlemen here in Nairobi during the Jubilee contest. You must be able to market yourself perfectly well across the board for you to win.
Let me say this.
Yeah.
Let me
That's
say
the only
this.
way you can be able to get this thing.
Senator Boni Khalwale mentioned this, and I'm going to say it, that this candidate got even an opportunity of addressing the public from on the president's car. He stood on the president's car.
By the way,
in some instances and in some places, when you go to Muranga, if you go to Kambani, and you're even standing next to Kilonzo, that is almost an endorsement.
Yes.
So, and then when he goes into deep mother tongue about who that person is, his qualities,
I mean,
he has already sent a message. He's a leader. He doesn't have to say, go and vote for him. He doesn't have to say so.
When I see you people speaking in rallies there, how far are you commanded to stand from the principal, from your principal's car?
The president's car
because my friend, you know, I mean, you're putting it as
car.
Have you watched all the? I mean, at least I can speak for myself. All the time when we go to our rallies and like when he was doing his tours, I mean, when he stops to speak, we're there. Actually, in almost all the photos, please produce all the photos you've taken from Kiambu. I'm right there next to him. Actually, sometimes even on his vehicle, and he's never endorsed me. He says, my friends, Wamatangi, so and there's this other one. These people.
You should watch the clip.
And not only myself, everybody. So
you should take offense.
Stop playing this card, my friends, and let me tell you.
Can I respond? Don't hog the media. Wamatangi, you're correct. It's all about Udamaki. And if Songo cares to listen, Udamaki is best spoken to in Kikuyu.
Yes.
So when he is in Kiambu, where all the leaders are Kikuyu, the message of Udamaki is intact.
Homogeneous.
But what Songo should learn is that what the president was speaking to in Muranga is Udamaki, so as for them to hold Nairobi.
Kabisa.
Udamaki does not mean hold Nairobi using a mukamba.
No.
He is not part of the Udamaki equation.
No.
Those of us who have donated our lives.
You have a very
donated our lives.
Okay.
Listen. Those of us who have donated our lives, not just now, but during our lifetime, I'm over 50, to make sure that Kenya is less tribal than it is, we are fighting nonsenses like Udamaki. And therefore,
my friend, listen,
we want to condemn the president.
Boni,
we want to condemn the president,
please,
by saying that every time the president has got the microphone before him, he's speaking to Kenya.
My friend,
so when he chooses to speak on a very serious matter like this, hold on, man.
Let him finish. But let's agree about one thing.
Yes.
Let's agree about one thing.
You are allowing to finish.
My friend Debarl, in this debate, you're supposed to be an avatar.
But why don't you let me finish and then you will do what you want to do.
Supposed to be a fair one.
Wamatangi.
You see,
I agree.
but if you know, I know we are going to the nominations, and we have all agreed here in this forum that you are NASA. All right, but let
Who is
them,
NASA?
Are you accusing
Why are you endorsing me?
let them make their case.
I'm a journalist.
Don't
you're
help them to
profiling
make
the
their
poor
case.
man.
Because you see, they don't have a case.
But let him finish.
Don't give him all the time
So can I-
to
okay.
make no
Can
case.
I conclude my-
You see?
Okay, let
in
him conclude,
conclusion,
then we go on.
Wamatangi,
Yes,
what I
please.
was just begging the president to understand is that the moment he's given the mic is written the Presidential Press Unit. It is not called Utamaki Press Unit or the press unit of one ethnic community or the other. So anytime he speaks, his speech must always reflect the fact that he's addressing the entire nation. So, when the president chooses to speak in Kikuyu on very sensitive issues like the elections of Nairobi, Nairobi does not belong to any community, he is practicing hate speech. And for all who care to listen, President Kibaki, he never spoke through that mic.
He was finished, really.
Okay,
When Kibaki spoke through that mic, Kibaki never spoke in Kikuyu.
You see, Debarl, unless you invited us here to come and listen to a monologue by
I give up.
Because I mean, when I'm starting to speak, you say briefly.
No. I didn't even say briefly today.
You have already taken 2 minutes.
What one?
You have already taken 2 minutes to
You're
rebut.
letting him tell a long story.
Okay, I've donated you 5 minutes of mine.
Okay, go on, sir.
And then I'll take a minute after it takes 5.
Finish. Then
I've
respond.
donated
You
donated
finished.
you my time. Just
He's
respond.
finished.
Don't. Are you finished?
I've finished.
Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted. Because, you see, I mean, really, Boni, you must be able to finish by saying something. Because this thing that you have brought about Udhamaki, one, you don't know what Udhamaki means. I can tell you what Udhamaki means. Because
You're not the only Kikuyu we speak to.
My friend.
We speak to other
my
Kikuyus.
friend.
They have to
Let him
At
finish, let him finish.
At least you're not one. You see, so, and I want to bring you close to very quick history. You can't forget history so quickly. If you're talking about Udhamaki to signify leadership of the country, remember who was the first president of this country? It was Jomo Kenyatta. That is the actual marker of how Udhamaki started. You'd say so. Now, how did he make his Udhamaki? But by incorporating everybody else, from Akina Jaramogi Odinga, from Chieng Oneko, from Ngei, from all those we call the Kapenguria Six. So if there is anyone who knows how better to make Udhamaki a reality, it is from that lesson. Now you're creating another concocted version of it. Well, the lesson is clear. You see, how would you say, and remember the story of Kibaki, if you're talking about Udhamaki. Kibaki was a Mudhamaki, my friend. How did Kibaki become a Mudhamaki? Through the same channel. So why are you trying to concoct this one with what you want it to look like? Because the problem you have, you gentlemen, is that you have not been able to divorce yourself from this ethnic tribal thinking. You can never, my friends, and this is one thing anybody who is smart enough to want to get to that Udhamaki must know. Unless you can play across the board and be able to work with the other people, you can never get to that Udhamaki people are talking about. Now, lastly,
Can you use this opportunity to define Udhamaki?
And you see,
so that it's forever clear to Kenyans.
Okay,
Define
let
it.
him finish. Just give him his time.
Yes, and I want us to be in agreement, Debarl.
Yes.
Because when we closed, I was supposed to have been responding.
We're coming back
to some key issues.
Yeah, I haven't
so I
forgotten.
hope this is just a this is just a side show.
In the dailies, yes.
Fine. So anyway, lastly, my friend, Udhamaki, if you wanted me to define Udhamaki for you.
Yes.
Udhamaki, my friend, must be born of a very smart lesson that you must have in your mind. And
What
I
does
think
it mean?
we have learned that lesson. And sometimes learned it the hard way, but we are good learners. That we hold with his hand Boni Khalwale, and Mutula Kilonzo, and Mwadefu, and Otieno, and that way we can be able to get to Udhamaki and retain it and build a country. If you want us to define Udhamaki in any other way, my friend, in your version, the Luya version, or the Khalwale version, not even the Luya, because we have got good Luyas, who knows that this country belongs to all
There's
of
no
us.
Udhamaki in Luyaland.
No, my friend. Call it in your own language. Give it your own language. Udhamaki can be defined in this country by any tribe, by their own definition.
It means
Udhamaki
what?
Simply means
Yes.
leadership. Leadership, my friend. Leadership in English. So define that. And then when you give it the Kikuyu version, call it Udhamaki.
All right, let's say from Mutula, we close up on it and
that's
very
why,
briefly
that's
from
what, you know, that's the phrase statements lost in translation. Is what Senator Wamatangi is trying to do.
Yes.
The correct position about Udhamaki from a lose-lose understanding is protect your leadership, protect your own, ring-fence your own, protect what is yours.
No,
leadership is ours.
My
This is
brother.
our seat. Are you going to protect it? And that is the reason why.
You being a camper should know better.
Let him finish. We give you time.
When the president spoke about, do you want somebody who will, he actually says so, in Kikuyu, do you want somebody who will protect your interests in Nairobi? Let me tell you two things, two facts. One, the majority of the businessmen in Nairobi are from Murang'a, in Nairobi today. Not from Kiambu, where he comes from. And then when the president speaks in Kiswahili, in Kikuyu, mother tongue, and says, do you want a person who will protect your interests? Do you want me to show you that person? And that person happens to be PK, standing next to him, and he's given the microphone and says, I will be governor, I will come back as governor. That is an endorsement. And he will tell you, and all of us at some point speak in mother tongue when we are addressing our people out there. Mother tongue speaks to the heart. If you want to touch the heart of the people you are speaking to, you use mother tongue. You go into the parables that are in mother tongue. That's how you capture their attention. And that's what the president did. And if my friend Senator Sonko is thinking otherwise, he better consult. Even if he's going to consult the move.
All right. On this thing about mother tongue, you know, really, let me just say that very, very quickly, although I still have my points. But on this thing about mother tongue, gentlemen, I want us to remind ourselves and remind Kenyans especially about what the Constitution says.
About
us promoting our cultural diversity and our customs.
My friend, listen,
my friend. Listen, my friends. One thing that is provided for very clear and actually emphasized in the Constitution is that we must not lose our customs, our cultures, our norms. And so, actually what we should be saying, do you know, there's one thing that amazes me even up to now, and I'll say this, gentlemen, you know, all know. If the French president comes to Kenya and this gentleman can speak in fluent English, he will speak in his language, in his own language.
All right.
If Vladimir Putin, who speaks fluent English and is educated in the US, addresses the world, he speaks in Russian.
But
I mean, why?
Okay. Can we close up on it?
Let's not over-dramatize
the
this
president,
thing
just
about,
a moment.
But we tend the occasional, the occasional, when a leader, for example, the head of state, is in that region to address people and maybe says a few remarks in the mother tongue. The same thing happens also, maybe like when Kilonzo is there in Ukambani. And I wish if he was fluent in another 3 languages,
let's speak 1 minute. But I need to, as we're winding up,
yes,
as we're winding up on this,
the president,
yes, we're winding up on this. The president is supposed to be the embodiment, you know, of cohesiveness and, you know, cohesion, I should say, and, you know, unity in the country. We've never heard from President, you know, the retired President Arap Moi speaking in tongues in Kalenjin anywhere before, right? We've never heard even from Moi Kibaki.
Now you're talking.
Speaking in his mouth. Just a moment. My question is,
my friend, but yes, as you continue, because it's okay, continue.
I will tell you as a citizen myself.
But one thing that you need to do,
let me finish my question.
Be correct about your archives.
All right.
Be correct about it. If you have your archives, be sure that what you are saying is correct.
Yeah, okay. What I'm saying is correct because I've never had, at least myself, I've never had. It might be out there, I've never had.
No,
but the regularity we've had from President Uhuru Kenyatta speaking in the mother tongue, I feel as a citizen myself secluded when I can't, you know,
understand what he's saying.
Understand what he's saying. What is he talking about?
Listen,
so
now let me say this.
Just the question is, him being now the picture of embodiment of unity, is he supposed to do that as a president?
The Constitution says the president is the head of state, Article 131. he says, is a symbol of national unity. In 2, it says the president shall promote and enhance unity of the nation, promote and respect for the diversity of the people and communities in Kenya. When he's dealing with a divisive issue like a party primary, where one of his contestants is Kikuyu, the other one is Kamba, he would choose to speak in English or Kiswahili.
Period.
Period.
All right.
End of story.
Boni Khalwale.
My family has got a wife, born and bred from Banana in Kiambu here.
Your family or yourself?
Our family.
I mean,
Our families are good wives.
There's no offense against it.
Now, I asked Susan, Susan, what is Utamaki? And she told me that to us, Kikuyus, Utamaki is leadership by our community.
Yes.
Using our community's leaders to protect the interests of the community.
Insulate.
To protect the interests of the community. Yes. How dare the president can want to push that particular principle in Nairobi, knowing very well the composition of Nairobi?
It's cosmopolitan.
What is he going to do with the Luyas in Nairobi, the Luos in Nairobi, the Kambas in Nairobi, the Kisis in Nairobi? He should know that when he's looking at Nairobi, he's not looking at the prism like he does when he's weighing the strengths of Jubilee. Because in Jubilee, there are only 2 tribes. So he thinks that since there are no Kalenjins in Nairobi, the same applies to the rest of the communities.
Is it my turn? Or you're still finishing?
I have finished.
You know, the constitution you have read is our constitution.
Yes, boss.
And that's our law. But I also want to...
That's why that microphone...
Is it my turn to speak?
Yeah, I was going to explain. That microphone reads President of Kenya.
Now,
the car at the front has got President of Kenya.
Unless you want us to engage, unless you want us to engage in a back and forth. No. But let me make my point.
Have your take, boss.
That's why I told you, I first affirmed that the constitution you read is our constitution.
Completely.
And that is our law. But that law, and Senator Mutula, you are a lawyer, is not intended to be interpreted in a monolithic way. There is nowhere where the law envisaged Debarl at any one time,
that
for your understanding, because you said you felt secluded, that even when the president goes home to address his grandmother, that he must speak in English, just in case you hear him. Or just in case, it is my point, it is my time, my friend. Let me make my point.
Okay.
There is nowhere that constitution says that if he goes and finds a group of old men who are walking with walking sticks from a certain generation, that he must address them in English.
On policy issues.
There is nowhere it says that. There is nowhere it says that if he went, for example, and he was serving in a certain place like in Mijikenda, and for any one reason, even him being a Kikuyu, he could speak Mijikenda. That never says that he cannot go and maybe say 1 or 2 words. By the way, my friends, and you have heard what they say, in political speak or in leadership, most of the times, you find that you break from this language to the other language to emphasize a point. Lastly, I want to say to all of you, I don't know Debarl, because I have not interrogated you a lot, so I don't know which community you come from or which tribe you come from.
That's called profiling.
But
he comes from the majority tribe.
No. I mean, you must have an origin. we all celebrate where we are, but we acknowledge we are Kenyans.
Yes.
Yeah. The point is this: I do not know where which community you came from, what your mother tongue is, but if you have a Bible near you, I don't know whether you have one. Maybe you belong to the club of Khalwale. Who don't read the Bible.
I do.
If you had one, it's in your phone.
Yes.
So lift it up.
What verse?
And once you lift it up, assume it is the Bible you are holding. And I want you to swear to Kenyans there that the last time you spoke in your mother tongue was when you did not know how to speak in English. Probably yesterday you spoke in it. So let us not try to bring this and make it a big issue. There is no big issue here. when the president comes to parliament to address the nation in the State of the Nation address, he uses the language that is right.
All right.
When he makes statements about the status of the country or policy, he uses the language that is acceptable. And that is known and acceptable in our constitution. But when he goes to his own home backyard, or with his friends, or with his, which is also acknowledged in the constitution, he can use his own language.
Thank you.